Witchcraft. Myth? Evil? Throughout time, many have heard stories of witches. The famous Salem witch trials, the Baba Yaga in Slavic folklore. But how did it all begin? What makes a witch? And perhaps the most daunting question of all, where does witchcraft lurk today?
Perfect disguise.
To understand what is, we must explore what was. The beginning.
What is your definition of witchcraft?
I'm going to give you a real academic's answer to this.
Let's hear it.
A witch is a person who possesses a supernatural, occult, or mysterious power to cause injury or misfortune to others. If you go back to even the Mesopotamian, ancient Greece, Rome, I should say, medieval, early modern, the idea of a witch seems to be pretty much malevolent action.
Where did the concept of witchcraft originate, and why did it cause such hysteria?
A good starting point for the opposition to witchcraft would be with a more monotheistic emphasis in Christianity. Let's focus on Christianity per se, because it was a dominant religion. Within the Christian tradition, you are not to worship any other gods. They actually did have hangings and, burnings actually. So executions for people perceived to be practicing witchcraft. When I think about it myself, I think in terms of an era of enchantment from the ancient world through the medieval world, because they believed in the presence of spirits, the power of the supernatural. And then in the 18th century, 19th century, this push towards rationalism and science takes a different kind of turn. And then a turn in the 21st century to some extent to re-enchantment, I think.
Why women?
The anti-feminist elements just seem to burble up into a perfect storm in the 15th century. One of the things that they don't often emphasize is that male witches would be portrayed not necessarily riding a broomstick, but a pitchfork. That would be a man's instrument. So women with the broom in the house, but men with the pitchfork in the fields.
Do you think these people were cursing people and actually making spells, stuff like that?
What I think is that people back then, however far back you want to go, and people today look for relief from pain.
From heresy to heroism, witchcraft remains an ever-changing controversy. Does it heal? Hurt? Is it dangerous?
Seekest thou the road to all that's foul and fair?
The idea of magic and sorcery is one that has been portrayed through many different aspects of media, especially in the last 100 years.
You cursed rat! Look what you've done! I'm melting! Melting! Oh, what a world! What a world!
We've seen witches as villains, superheroes, Halloween costumes.
Which way you look, the witch way rules.
Happy Halloween!
We see Ouija boards and tarot cards lining the shelves of our retail stores. How and why did the narrative change again?
So, the bones and stuff, those all have specific purposes for, whatever animals they're from. All sorts of like dead material can be used in necromancy and things like that, bone throwing, and those sorts of things. We have some statues over there, which all depict different deities from different cultures that practitioners will use to be as like a representation of that deity in their space. There's a lot of different uses for some of the other tools here. Most of it all boils down to the 4 elements and what they're represented with: earth, air, fire, and water. Got a whole bunch of different books on different occult topics. Our crystal section over there is a pretty popular place among younger practitioners. It's a little bit more accessible and easier to understand than some of the more complex ceremonial magic and spellcasting stuff. I think currently there's kind of a resurgence of witch culture. Witchcraft as a concept is a lot more mainstream and pop culture oriented than it used to be. So we have things like Agatha All Along that's out right now that really influences the way that people perceive witchcraft. I think a big part of it is depends on how representation continues in popular culture, whether or not stories about witches continue to be told, and whether or not the themes of witchcraft and our culture continue to be a part of people's consciousness.
But why does any of this matter? The haunting past witchcraft carries stays with all of us, even today. Women and men hunted, hanged, tortured, all for the potential belief in something bigger, something unknown. And if history has taught us anything, we know that with uncertainty comes fear. Fear breeds hate, and hate, well, hate is the purest form of evil. Pretty ironic, isn't it?